Hello, welcome to the forecast. I wanted to give a quick shout out to all my peeps in the flop house, the Billy Hose flop house, for showing up this week for the TOC. The Squirrel Man, last I looked, was pushing to take the very first Billy Ho contest of the year with Sweet Spot Sports and my man Big R Gamer trying to close some ground. I also wanted to mention my fellas Big Daddy Gator, Real Gabagool, Jim Baba M, Jones Bow, Chet 24, my man Guru Nick, who's always giving me horse racing advice, my man Hamburgini, who has been a long-standing member and long-time mentor of all things DFS. My man DB McFly, looking always fly in his bow tie. And Dart Hero, who's always asking and giving good advice. And a couple of new guys, C-Mac and Texans, all getting in on the Discord action. Now remember, you can always DM me on my Twitter at BILLYAH40, Bill Ya 40, to get an invite. All right. First off, we are going to hit our first full field event of the year, and it's once again in Hawaii, the Sony Open. Wiley Country Club is a par 70, 7,044 yard, slick little course with only two par fives and loaded with par fours from 4 to 500 yards, which all kind of dogleg one way or the other. The fairways are challenging to navigate, and the greens are about 6,500 square feet on average, so you better be accurate with your approaches. If the greens are missed, you're going to want to have your around the green game in order. We have Bermuda greens that are about average in speed, and always a hot putter is going to take you to the top. So, in this pod, just to be a little bit different, I'm going to discuss 4 golfers that played this week in the TOC versus 4 golfers that did not. And we're going to do it in a little bit of breakdown. So let's get to it. First up, we got Cam Smith versus Webb Simpson. Now, as of this recording, Cam is neck and neck to try to get this win at the TOC with Mr. John Rahm, the number 1 golfer in the world. Cam has been lights out with the flat stick this week. And not only that, he's gained across the board in all aspects of the game. Everything points to him being A, high priced, B, high owned, and C, well deserved to be a favorite at Sony. Now versus Webb, who I kind of feel like they have similar skill sets. Webb was less than stellar in 2021, had some issues with injury, neck, and whatnot, but he did kind of bounce back toward the end of the season, had a decent fall swing, back-to-back top 15s, and the unknown is we have not seen Webb in about 6 weeks, so you have to hope he's been working. Good news is for this course, it's a great course for Webb to return to action. He should have no issue navigating Wiley, as he has 3 top 5s in his last 3 trips here. Next up, Sanjay M versus Corey Connors. At last look, M was yet again in contention and playing quite well at the Tournament of Champions. He's probably just a bit too far back to make any real noise, but he could have a crack at a top 5. M has been outstanding this fall with solid ball striking and around the green game. His putting was a bit of a concern for a time, but his best surface is Bermuda. And the 2.5 strokes through 3 rounds he gained at Kapalua kind of sets my mind at ease, thinking he's going to be aight. I'm looking for him to be up top in DK pricing and ownership, but for me, he's always that tasty chalk to eat on. Now, versus Corey Connors, another guy with 6 weeks since we've seen him as well. And after a so-so fall swing marked with a bit of inconsistent iron play, he did maintain some excellent off-the-tee skills. He has always been a very accurate driver, so I'm not too worried about that. The iron game, as long as he straightened that out a little bit, he should be okay. His short game is a bit of concern here, but if he's been working out over Christmas break, we should see a good performance from him. His last 2 appearances at Sony have been good. Our next versus is the Kev Kisner, the Kiz versus the midget Brian Harmon. And my bad for the midget slur. I know people could probably be offended by that, but the dude is tiny. I'll get to that later. The Kiz is currently flirting with the top 10 this week and has played very well. Suspect fall swing from him, he looked horrible. But being that he is severely distance challenged, especially like in a place like Kapalua, he has made up for that with positive approach and around the green game with excellent putting. Kiz himself has admitted that there are a select number of tournaments that he's comfortable competing in, and he feels like this is one of them. And obviously, with a shortened course, he's going to be pretty comfortable, and his play this week could parlay into a high finish next week at Sony. Now, Brian Harmon has been hashtag not good for a while. 2021 was not kind to Little B. Depending on where he's priced, I'm not so sure I want to play Little Man Tate. I mean, have you seen the guy on the course? He's fucking tiny. I mean, I got a picture of him here next to Rory, and Rory's all of about 5'9", and Brian Harmon's wiki says he's 5'7", and I'm kind of going to call bullshit on that one for real. But Brian can get down when he wants to if he gets a hot putter, so we will kind of take a look at his ownership and see where we're at there. Now, next is Sheamus Power versus Russell Henley. Sheamus has continued to impress since his breakout 2021 season. Statistically, he's about even with the field this week, but I wanted to throw him out here against Henley because I thought they might be kind of similar. Sheamus is not long off the tee, but he's accurate, so that should help him here. And he's got excellent iron play, which should also help. Now, his history here has been less than stellar, not very good actually, but for the last 8 months, he has been very good, and I think that he will parlay that into another good week at Sony. Now, up against Henley, Henley has always been an enigma to me. For a guy with his talent and the popularity that he gets in some tournaments, he sure does come up short. There are few in the game with the ball striking chops that this dude has, and I'll give him a massive plus mark for Bermuda greens because that is by far his best surface. Now, he should have the skills to get a top 10 here, but we shall see. All along this pod, you have seen a couple of my models, two of which that I liked. The first one was just kind of a short par 70s top 15. easy scoring. The second one was a top 15 model on just kind of what I think the best would be at Wiley Country Club. So just take a look, soak it all in, take advantage. It's all good. And as always, thanks for joining in my journey. I'm always going to get better. I'm always looking out for my dudes in the flop house. Keep joining the contest. Keep clicking subscribe. And until next time, we'll see ya.